Hi, I'm Cristina Smith, creator, along with my ever brilliant genius brother, Rick Smith, of the award-winning best-selling Yoga for the Brain series of profound philosophy and fun puzzle books. We are celebrating the release of the fifth book in the Yoga for the Brain series, Inspired Wisdom Word Search Yoga for the Brain, by spending a little time with some of the amazing authors who are contributing. Today we are with Melissa Morgan. She's the author of puzzle number 53, Believe in Magic. Hi, Melissa, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Wow, what a treat. Melissa Morgan is an international recording artist, and now she's coming back.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Hello.
morning. Thank you, Melissa. Tell us a little bit about that piece.
That's called The Dolphin Waltz. It's a piece I wrote long ago for one of my students, Kit Stoll, and he actually is the one who named it. I didn't name it. I wrote the piece. He had brought me, he's a Latin Paraguayan harp player, and he brought me a cassette recording, which dates this a little bit, and wanted me to figure out what the harp part was on this recording that he brought me. And I listened to it for a long time, and I couldn't quite figure out what he was talking about because it wasn't actually a harp, it was a guitarron part, which you couldn't do on a Paraguayan harp, right? It's not chromatic, or those in those days were not chromatic. They've developed levers since then. So he asked me to do this, and I wasn't able to do it, and so I wrote this piece for him instead, and offered it to him and said, well, you can name it, you can call it whatever you want. And he said, okay, I'll think about that. And then I'm not quite sure exactly how the story goes. So he went to Baja and was on a fishing boat. I'm not sure if he had his harp with him and was actually playing this song on his boat. We sort of, as a harp teacher, may hope not, but we don't know. People do all kinds of things. Or whether he was just thinking about it. And as they were fishing in Baja, the dolphins came and started doing dolphin aerobatics and beautiful dances and beautiful things. And he thought of the song. And so it became the Dolphin Waltz. So, which he sometimes calls El Waltz Delphine, which is also the waltz of the end. So it's kind of mysterious in many ways that way. So
how long have you been composing for the harp? and teaching the harp?
Let's see. Good question. I've been composing since the 70s. I'm not going to try and do the math at the moment. So I've been composing for a very long time, and I've been teaching for a very long time as well. I've played for more than 50 years, so we're going to just not let anybody do any more math than that to see how young I am getting every day with that. So I've been a harpist and a composer for all of my adult life. I became a composer when I lived on Guam because I just had my harp on the island, and there was a lot of challenging things. I was in a difficult, actually abusive marriage, and the harp was all that I had. And so I turned to it and started writing music, creating music, and started a trajectory that was sort of unexpected. I wasn't expecting to become a professional musician, but the harp and I had a relationship, and music started pouring out, and it's never stopped. So it's been a delight to be able to do what I love and to be able to play this magnificent instrument. I teach as well as perform and play, and it's a real pleasure to share it with other people. And besides teaching and playing the harp and writing music and composing and arranging and doing all those kinds of things and performing, sort of obviously, I have a rock, crystal, and mineral business, and I'm a writer, and I'm an editor, and I'm actually the editor of your incredible series. I started with your first book, The Tao of Sudoku, and I've had the pleasure of being the editor throughout all of these wonderful books, including the magic new one, Inspired Wisdom Word Search. Very excited about this, very excited to work with all the people in this, and I'm very excited to be one of them.
Well, and so tell us about Believe in Magic.
So I chose magic as my topic. I tried a number of different topics and wrote a number of different little mini articles or wisdoms, and landed on magic because I feel so strongly that what we focus on and what we really put in the top of our minds really matters. What we put our attention to. I spent years in chronic pain, and as a professional musician all of my life, I've had financial challenges, as many musicians do. And I spent a lot of my life worrying about money, worrying about bills, worrying about making the rent. And then when I had all of my pain years, I spent worrying about what was wrong with me. Why was I in so much pain? What did I do wrong? Why did my body hate me? What was wrong in this picture? And that focus just made everything worse. The money disappeared and the pain increased. So things just became extremely difficult and didn't seem to get better, even though I was doing all the things I knew how to do to make myself better and to get better and to get well and to get financially solvent, to do all those things. Then I had a few really, truly magical experiences that I consider to be gifts straight from the universe. On a really terrible day that was actually my birthday, and it was just an awful, awful, awful day. I was having just a terrible, terrible experience. And right in the middle of it, I was going out to my car to go do something very difficult, and this beautiful dragonfly came and showed up and fluttered around my car and landed on my car and stood, landed on my windshield and became very still. I actually got out my camera and was able to take pictures of it.
Ooh.
That thing hung around for like 5 minutes or longer, and it just completely changed the day. It was like this beautiful gift in the midst of all this awfulness. And it really struck me that was magic. That was magic. That was a gift. That was magic. And I had another similar experience of I was having a difficult conversation with a family member and was pacing along outside and was really frustrated and was very unhappy with the way the conversation was going and with the way the relationship was going with this member of my family who I love very much, but things were not good. And right in the middle of it, I had a ladybug come and land right on my shirt.
Oh.
And I looked down and there's this beautiful ladybug and she stayed. She stuck on my shirt and it just totally took my whole negative experience and took me from this realm of angst and frustration and sadness and awfulness into this beautiful realm of hope and joy and delight. And those felt like gifts from the universe, directly from the universe to me, as a reminder that I wasn't completely alone. I wasn't completely in, no matter how horrible it felt, there was still hope. There was still insects, or there was still something wonderful somewhere that had a message for me. And dragonflies are often known as messengers. So so as I have gone through my transformation as a person, I have made the choice, and it is a choice, to focus on magic and to focus on beautiful things, to focus on compassion, to focus on love, to focus on gratitude. And the more magic I focus on, the more magic enters my life. The more I focus on love, the more love enters my life. The more I focus on gratitude, the more blessings enter my life. So I've really learned to be grateful for the lessons the universe has taught me, so that I have been able to shift my perspective. And instead of spending all my time worrying and stressed and terrified about what's coming, to be like, ooh, where's the magic today? Where's today's miracles? Ooh, 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 what's going on? Ooh, what's going? And even when I walk along the street, I live in a very busy neighborhood in San Diego and in California. I love it here. And parking is a big issue. So I actually spend a lot of time walking. And so as I walk, I'm always looking around to see, is there a beautiful flower blooming, or is there a pretty cloud, or is there some kind of wonderful thing happening somewhere? And one of the things I've discovered is lots of, people call them pennies from heaven. I've discovered many pennies, and not just pennies. I've found quarters and dimes and nickels, and even something else. I actually have a couple of things to show you. So this is my latest collection. I've got, so here's my nickel, beautiful nickel. Here's my magic penny, 1 of 5. And then the other day I found this wonderful thing, which is a little jewel, a little plastic jewel in the middle of the street. So sometimes people say when we find pennies on the ground that it's a message from heaven, that somebody's sending us a hug. Sometimes they just say, oh, it's just a little magic moment. Sometimes it's like, ooh, I needed that cent. And the next time I'm buying gas, oh, and it's 2001, I've got the penny, I've got the extra magic penny for it. So what I feel like with that particular experience is that with all the things that I found in just a very short period of time, not only do I believe in magic, but I'm thinking magic may believe in me too.
Wow. Melissa, thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for bringing so many of us hope and joy and magic through your music and your contribution to Inspired Wisdom. And personally, thank you so much for being such an integral part of the team and bringing out all of the wisdom and Inspired Wisdom word search and the whole Yoga for the Brain book series. If you read the credits in most of the books, most writers thank their editors first, and I thank my editor over and over and over again, because she's what makes this work and makes it so good. So she's who makes all of us sound so good in this 60 author book. So thank you so much, Melissa Morgan. Oh, by the way, what kind of puzzles do you like to do?
Well, I love to do all kinds of different puzzles, and I'll answer that question in just a second. I want to talk a little bit about your brilliant Yoga for the Brain series. It's generous of you to thank me, but really you and Rick created this brilliant vehicle of sharing with the world amazing opportunities and letting people play with puzzles. Your first book, The Tao of Sudoku, I had never done a Sudoku in my life. I was convinced I couldn't do a Sudoku. I wasn't good at it. I didn't want to be good at it. I would never do one. I was absolutely stubborn about it. And then you asked me to edit this book, and I was like, what? Sudoku? What? Isn't that like a number game? Isn't that hard? Ooh, am I going to be able to do that? How can I be your editor if I can't do the puzzles? And you're like, oh no, you have to do the puzzles. I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Now I'm an addict. Now I love Sudokus. Now when I need to relax, I head to a Sudoku book, and I return to the Tao of Sudoku frequently. That whole transformative process of going from, oh, I can't do this, this is hard, this is awful, to, ooh, I like this is relaxing, this is fun. And not only that, I can do it. It's been, talk about magic. It's been magic to be your editor and to be participating in these wonderful books. And it's an amazing series, the whole Yoga for the Brain series of how to keep our brains active, how to keep ourselves learning and growing and changing and keeping our brains healthy, really, and stretching and doing it with fun. I mean, that's such a brilliant concept that you can actually, we all know, like learning a language, or we all know those kinds of things stretch the brain, but they're hard. Doing puzzles is fun. So being able to have fun and grow my brain and stay flexible and kind of protect myself from some of those real scary things that can happen to older brains. Of course, I'm getting younger, so I don't have to worry too much about this. But it's just a delight. And this book, Inspired Wisdom, with 60 contributors, that they are all so amazing. It's such an amazing crew of people, and they're all ages. They're from all over the world. It's an extraordinary compendium that you and your brother have brought together. And it's been such a delight, and it's been a puzzle as to how to morph all of these things, these individual wisdoms. Some people are literary writers, and some people are bloggers, and some people are write articles regularly for the newspaper. There's all kinds of different folks. And so coordinating all of those and yet keeping it cohesive has been a wonderful puzzle, and it's been a delight. And I'm so honored and so fortunate that I've been able to work with you and with these 60 authors and to be one. And so I'm very excited to be part of all of that. So to answer your puzzle question, my regular puzzle thing, I love Boggle, the game of Boggle. That's a word game with like dice that have letters on them. It's sort of like Scrabble, but it's has fewer rules. It's more just you find words in a bunch of letters. I like word searches because I like playing with letters. And I like jigsaw puzzles. The biggest jigsaw puzzle I ever did was a 3D one with Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
And Notre Dame, finding all those rose windows and getting the rose windows in the right place in 3D.
My goodness.
That was an interesting challenge. I was glad to do a 3D puzzle once. And so my favorite puzzle of all is music, because music is my life, and music is where so many things start for me. Even as a writer, I have my latest project that I'm working on is a series of children's books that's actually about problem solving. It's called Blue Mermaid. And it started with a piece of music. And so for me, writing music is the biggest puzzle of them all, because it starts with like an idea or a concept or a feeling or a moment or a melody pops into your head. And then it's how to capture it. And I like to describe it as like you're running down the beach trying to catch the tail of a kite. And you're never going to actually catch the kite. And you're probably not going to even catch the tail, no matter how high you jump. But maybe what you'll get is like a little resonance and just a little echo, a little piece of what was in that beautiful thing that you heard inside your head or inside your heart. And that resonance then gets translated into music. And that's the biggest puzzle of them all to me.
That's really beautiful. And this book is kind of like a choir with each person is an individual soloist doing something extraordinary. And the sound of the choir together is exquisite. So to pick up your copy of Inspired Wisdom Word Search Yoga for the Brain, you can go to Amazon.com. You can walk into a bookstore and ask for it by name. You can check it out on Target.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you for reading. Thank you for playing. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.